Some things Japan has built into daily life are so thoughtful and clever that the moment you encounter them, you immediately wonder why the rest of the world hasn't done the same. Internet cafes where you rent a fully private booth that comes with drinks, food, and everything you could possibly need inside it. A matcha drink bottle where the powder sits sealed inside the cap and drops into the water the moment you twist it. And a public bathhouse culture so embedded into neighborhood life that a proper hot soak is never more than a short walk from wherever you are. Japan doesn't just come up with clever ideas, it follows through on them so completely that by the time the rest of the world notices, Japan has already moved on to the next one. Today we're counting down 14 things in Japan that instantly make life better. Watch until the end because number 14, an aluminium popcorn pan that turns any stovetop into a cinema snack machine, is one of those ideas so simple you'll wonder why it doesn't exist everywhere. Number 1. Internet cafes with private booths by the hour. Japanese internet cafes, known as manga kisa or net cafes, offer fully enclosed private booths available by the hour that come with a computer, high-speed internet, an unlimited drink station, hot food options, manga libraries containing thousands of volumes, and a reclining chair comfortable enough to sleep in. You pay for your time at the entrance, walk to your booth, close the door, and everything you need is already there. The booth is yours for as long as you've booked. Nobody comes in. Nobody disturbs you. They're used by people who need to work remotely, by travelers who missed their last train and need somewhere to spend the night, by students who want to read manga for 3 hours, and by anyone who needs a private space in a busy city with no fixed cost beyond the hourly rate. Japan built a hospitality category that sits between a cafe and a hotel and costs a fraction of either. The private booth with a door changes the entire experience. Number 2. Matcha Love bottles with powder built into the cap. Matcha Love is a Japanese drink bottle with a sealed compartment built directly into the cap that holds a single serving of matcha powder. When you're ready to drink, you twist the cap, the powder drops into the water below and you shake to mix. Fresh matcha, no preparation, no equipment, no mess. The powder stays completely separated from the water until the moment you activate it, meaning the drink is as fresh as it can be right up until you decide to make it. There's no pre-mixed concentrate degrading in a bottle. There's no powder clumping from moisture exposure. The mechanism keeps both components in their ideal state until the second they need to combine. It's a product built around a single, well-observed problem. Matcha doesn't travel well once mixed. Japan put the powder in the cap and solved it with a twist. Number 3. Toast spreads in tubes. Japan sells toast spreads including butter, jam, chocolate paste, and flavored cream cheese in squeezable tubes that apply directly to bread without a knife, a spoon, or any additional implement required. You squeeze the tube, the spread comes out in a controlled amount, and you're done. No spreading, no washing up, no digging the last bit out of a jar with a knife at an angle that's never quite right. The tube empties cleanly and completely from the first use to the last. The format is particularly practical for single-serve portions, for children who can apply their own spread without making a significant mess, and for anyone eating breakfast in a context where a knife and a jar are inconvenient to manage. Japan looked at the morning toast routine and found the part of it that was unnecessarily fiddly. The spread is the same. The tube removes every step between the bread and the spread being on it. If you're enjoying this so far, go ahead and tap like. It tells YouTube you want more of Japan's clever, everyday innovations. And if you'd love discovering things you didn't even know existed, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. Trust me, the next ones are even cool. Number 5. Cat cafes. Japan's cat cafes are relaxed hourly spaces where customers pay to spend time among resident cats that move freely throughout the cafe, choosing whether to interact with customers on their own terms. You order a drink, find a seat, and the cats do whatever they want. Some sit on laps, some sleep on shelves, some ignore everyone entirely. The interaction is genuine rather than managed because the cats aren't performing. They live there and the customers visit them in their space. The concept emerged in Japan in the early 2000s and spread internationally from there, driven by the specific conditions of Japanese city life. Most apartments in Tokyo prohibit pets. The cat cafe provides the company of animals to residents who have no other way to access it. Japan built a hospitality business around a gap between what city residents wanted and what their living situations allowed. The cats are happy, the customers are happy, the drink order is almost beside the point. Number 6. Heated vending machine drinks year-round. Japanese vending machines maintain 2 separate temperature zones simultaneously, dispensing ice-cold drinks from one section and genuinely hot drinks from the other, from the same machine, in the same location, at any hour of the day or night. In winter, the hot section stocks canned coffee, green tea, and corn soup that come out of the machine warm enough to hold against cold hands before you open them. In summer, the cold section dispenses drinks cold enough to produce condensation immediately on contact with warm air. Both sections run at the same time all year. The machine doesn't switch between modes seasonally. It serves both temperatures simultaneously because the need for both exists simultaneously. Japan treats the temperature of a drink as a basic requirement that vending infrastructure should meet, rather than a variable the customer manages around the limitations of the machine. The result is a network of over 5 million machines that always has exactly what you need, regardless of what the weather is doing outside. Number 7. Supermarket fish counters where staff fillet to order. Japanese supermarket fish counters stock whole fish, full fillets, and live seafood, and the staff behind the counter will break down, fillet, skin, slice, and prepare any piece of fish to the customer's exact specification while they wait. You point at what you want, tell the staff how you intend to cook it, and they prepare it accordingly. Sashimi cut, steak portions, butterflied for grilling, skin on or off, bones in or removed. The counter functions as a working kitchen station dedicated entirely to the customer's order. The quality standard applied to supermarket fish in Japan is significantly higher than most countries apply to specialist fishmongers. The handling, the cold chain, and the skill of the staff behind the counter reflect a cultural baseline for raw fish quality that positions it as safe and desirable daily food rather than a specialist purchase. Japan put a professional fish preparation service inside a supermarket and made it available to anyone doing their weekly shop. Number 8. Public pianos in stations and shopping centers. Japan places upright pianos in the public concourses of train stations, shopping centers, airports, and public buildings, available for anyone to sit down and play at any time without booking, permission, or any qualification beyond wanting to play. The result is spontaneous live music in transit spaces throughout the day. Commuters who happen to play sit down between trains and perform for whoever is passing. Children pick out single notes. Occasionally, someone sits down and plays something extraordinary in the middle of a shopping center, and the space changes entirely for the duration of it. The piano is there, the bench is there. The decision to play is the only requirement. Japan recognized that placing an instrument in a public space produces music in that space, and that music in a public space improves it for everyone passing through, whether they play or not. The cost of the piano is fixed. The benefit it produces continues every time someone sits down, which in Japan is constantly. Number 9. Nishiki Market, known as Kyoto's Kitchen. Nishiki Market is a narrow covered shopping street in central Kyoto, stretching roughly 400 meters and lined on both sides with over 100 small shops and stalls, selling fresh seafood, pickled vegetables, tofu, street food, kitchen knives, local sweets, and regional specialties specific to the Kyoto culinary tradition. It has operated as a food market in the same location for over 400 years. The vendors selling pickled vegetables today are in many cases the descendants of the vendors who sold them a century ago. The product knowledge behind each stall reflects generations of specialization in a single ingredient or preparation method. You walk through slowly, eating from stalls, watching preparation happen at counter level, and buying things that don't exist outside this specific street in this specific city. Nishiki is not a food hall or a tourist market built to simulate the experience of a traditional market. It is the traditional market, still operating, still daily, still supplying Kyoto's restaurants and households the same way it always has. Number 10. Convenience store. ATMs for foreign cards. Japan's convenience store ATM network, operated primarily through 7 bank machines inside 7-Eleven stores, accepts foreign debit and credit cards reliably, dispenses yen at competitive exchange rates, operates in multiple languages, and is available around the clock without exception. In a country that still conducts a significant proportion of daily transactions in cash, the ability to access yen at any hour from any convenience store, regardless of which country your card was issued in, is not a minor convenience. It is the difference between having money and not having it at 11 at night in a city where the bank closed hours ago. The machines are inside stores that are themselves open around the clock, making the ATM accessible in a safe, lit, staffed environment at any hour. Japan solved the foreign visitor cash access problem by putting a reliable, multilingual, internationally compatible ATM inside the most densely distributed retail network in the country and keeping both open indefinitely. Number 11. Sento public bathhouses. Sento are neighborhood public bathhouses found throughout Japan, where residents pay a small entry fee to use large communal hot baths, cold plunge pools, and steam rooms maintained to a consistent standard by the bathhouse operator. You bring your own soap and shampoo, wash thoroughly at the individual washing stations before entering the bath, and soak in water kept at a temperature that a home bathtub rarely sustains long enough to be genuinely restorative. The experience is the same as a private bath in every physical respect, except the scale of the water, the temperature consistency, and the fact that you're sharing it with your neighborhood. That last part is not a compromise. It's a feature that Sento regulars consider the point. Japan maintained a public bathing infrastructure in residential neighborhoods that gives anyone access to a proper hot bath, regardless of whether their home has a bathtub, whether their boiler is working, or whether they simply prefer the Sento to bathing alone. Number 12. Odin at convenience stores and street food stalls. Odin is a Japanese winter dish of fish cakes, tofu, boiled eggs, daikon radish, and various other ingredients slow-simmered in a light dashi broth. And from the first cold day of the year, it appears simultaneously at convenience store counters and street food stalls across the entire country. At the convenience store, the Odin pot sits on the counter beside the register. You point at what you want, the staff ladles it into a cup with broth, and you eat it standing at the counter or take it with you. Each piece costs a few dozen yen. A full cup of mixed Odin costs less than a coffee. The broth is kept at temperature throughout the day, deepening in flavor as the ingredients continue to cook slowly inside it. Japan developed a winter street food that is hot, deeply savory, available everywhere, costs almost nothing, and appears reliably every year the moment the temperature drops. Other countries have winter food. Japan made it a seasonal institution. Number 13. JR Pass covering the entire country on one ticket. The Japan Rail Pass is a single ticket purchased before arrival in Japan that provides unlimited travel on the entire JR network for a fixed period, covering every Shinkansen bullet train, every limited express, every local train, and most ferry connections operated by Japan Railways across the full length of the country. You buy the pass, activate it on arrival, and for the duration of its validity, you board any JR service without booking individual tickets, paying platform fees, or managing a separate payment for each journey. Tokyo to Kyoto on the Shinkansen, Kyoto to Hiroshima, Hiroshima back to Tokyo, all covered, all included. For a country where a single Shinkansen ticket between major cities costs more than the full-day pass, the JR Pass changes the economics of traveling Japan completely. Japan built a rail network that connects every significant point in the country, and then created a single product that gives visitors unrestricted access to all of it for a week at a price that rewards the decision to go further rather than penalizing it. Number 14. Aluminum popcorn pans for the stovetop. Japan produces disposable aluminum popcorn pans designed to sit directly on a stovetop burner and pop a full batch of popcorn in minutes without any specialist equipment, without oil management, and without washing up. The pan comes preloaded with popcorn kernels and the correct amount of oil already measured inside. You place it on the burner, the heat builds, the kernels pop into the expanding foil dome above the pan, and when the popping stops, you peel back the lid and eat directly from the container. One pan, one batch. No pot, no oil bottle, no measuring, no cleaning. It produces fresh stovetop popcorn with the flavor that only direct heat and real oil achieves, in a format that requires nothing from the person making it beyond placing it on a flame and waiting 3 minutes. Japan made fresh stovetop popcorn as convenient as the bagged microwave version, without any of the compromises that come with it. The pan costs almost nothing and produces something significantly better. If you want to see more amazing things Japan is doing better than the rest of the world, then like and subscribe. And make sure to watch the video on your end screen. It's packed with even more life-improving things.